Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of all ages, welcome back to another edition of Star Citizen 3.0.1. First and foremost, congratulations, Charles F.A. However, it's pronounced Charles Iron. He is the winner of the Origin X1 Scarlet Edition contest. And I am super pleased that he is the one, who won. Charles has been, well, I don't want to say fan, because that sounds a little narcissistic, but viewer. Yeah, there we go. He's been a viewer for quite a while, I would say. And he's very nice, comments, and always has some interesting things to say or trying to help out in one way or another. And all around, super great guy. So, figured today what we would try to do is get some stuff going. And the elevator actually worked! Hooray! Yeah! Time for a little bit of celebration. Ooh, 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 yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I've been running into Levski bugs way more often than I should, and, oh, it looks like, oh, where's the gun? Where's the damn, alright, well, never fear, because I guess we could always go and grab the hoplite. Luckily, there's not a whole huge difference, but it's still a little disappointing. But on the upside, at least the hoplite has some really nice interior lighting, and I mean, really, the only difference between the two is the warden has a shower. And I believe has an engineer station. I don't remember if the hoplite does. But the hoplite has the interior dropship, quote, module where it can hold like 6 people. It's got a gun rack. Really cool stuff. So let's claim the warden. Claim the warden. I hate when this happens. Why don't they have this database sorted out yet? Where I gotta claim it, and if it doesn't work, I gotta back out. Oh good, the elevator works. Gotta back out, go back in, and then it'll be partially claimed, and then to fully claim it, I gotta claim it again. And I don't know, you'd think they'd have this sorted out by now. And as you saw, it's not like the ship was previously spawned. That was a fresh spawn. So let's see. Oh, the elevator almost just took me out. Mafangulo, ah. Yeah, that's what I gotta say to you, bastard. Alright, let's see. I think I see a turret, and... Alright, there's the weapon. Woo! M7A. Yeah, baby. For those of you who don't know, M7A is a size 5 weapon. It looks like clear skies, so we should be all set there. And personally, I like to take the Gatling off, the ballistic Gatling, and put that on for the pip's sake. And let's see, where's the button? Is there a button? You'd think there'd be a button to open up the door instead of just poking and prodding randomly at like the edifice there. And for a dropship, boy, that ramp drops slowly. But here's what I'm talking about, the interior. The lighting, absolutely gorgeous. And once again, button doesn't work versus pressing randomly in the vacuum of the ramp. Alright, get over here, hop on in. Alright. Glad that the auto startup button is working now. So we've got some Evocades getting their invites, you lucky pricks. And luckily 3.1 is ever approaching. It's getting closer, which I couldn't be more excited about, as it's, you know, no secret. I am incredibly excited to get the Reclaimer in my hands. Very, well, I would say excited, but I'm very interested to see the Terrapin. Get that in my hands as well. Hopefully both of those ships are rip-roaring, we're ready to go. And let's see if we can find our waypoint. I think it's on the opposite side. I'm glad that they at least got this part fixed, where I can at least pull up the orbital markers by selecting the planet without having the quantum jump to it. So, I mean, they're making progress. The frame rates also in this video, they're a little clunky here and there, but overall, whoa! Just had X-ray vision or something. Can't wait for that object container streaming, or whatever the hell. Yeah, object container streaming. You know, like right here, got a little bit of a dip. And another thing that's actually really upsetting, for some reason with these ECN missions, I've noticed, more often than not, if you select that waypoint and try to quantum to it,
quantum travel complete.
The mission will disappear or you'll fail it. Has anybody else run into that? Because for me, that's kind of super duper annoying. You know, like, it makes me have to drive there from this distance, and I mean, I don't mind taking in the sights. I mean, look how beautiful that planet is, even basically in pitch dark, you know? I mean, super gorgeous. I love it. Alrighty. So, couple things I'm really excited for in 3.1, aside from Reclaimer and the Terrapin. Oh, and the Tumbrel. I'm excited to see that. I really hope that is faster than the Ursa, and I hope it doesn't slow to a crawl when you're turning. Again, like the Ursa. We can only hope, and we can only stay positive and really hope that that comes to fruition. A couple things that I was thinking of. What kind of armor does the Terrapin have? Like, will it actually give some sort of extra defensive bonus? Like, what kind of HP is this thing dealing with? What kind of speed do we have? And by speed, really, I mean agility and mobility. You know, is it going to be really unwieldy like the Starfarer? Or is it going to have a little bit more performance, kind of like the Freelancer? I mean performance, again, in terms of like agility. You know, like, it's not super agile, but it's not clunky as hell either. And the weapons. Last time I looked on the stats page, I don't remember seeing exactly what weapons that it had. I believe it was still under to be determined. But I can't help but think, depending on if this thing is as heavily armored as they were touting it, why wouldn't it be a good combat ship? I mean, what's the point of having armor if it's not protecting you? So I could actually see the Terrapin, not only for its scanning, but for its armor, be a good recon, and maybe even a type of support ship for, like, the tip of the spear for some sort of militaristic engagement or something along those lines. And speaking of engagements, the woman character player model still seems to be pushed to the end of the year, 3.4, which I believe should be in or around December. And again, I really have questions as to why it's taking so long to change well, to implement a female model. We already have a male model. I don't know, like that doesn't make sense. I can understand, you know, maybe what they're doing is holding back the female model until the character creation is set up for male and female. That's the only thing I could think of that would be holding that back, because for the rigging and the skeletons, you know, it wouldn't take a whole lot. I'm sure they've got a couple of females that they've mocapped, and just, you know, really with a female, you just got to make it a little bit shorter, accentuate certain physical characteristics, and then apply said animations. Now, I'm no game developer, so I don't have, you know, like any insider information or really know what the fuck I'm talking about in this circumstance. But I have to assume it wouldn't take a whole lot of finagling to get that up and working. But again, only thing I can think of is perhaps they're holding it back until they get the character creation portion of that dialed in as well. From the quick glimpses that we got of the character creation, it's definitely early iteration, but for what they have, it looks pretty decent. I think I remember seeing at least, what, like 5 or 10 choices for a majority of the categories, like the head, the skin, the hair, the eyes. Maybe he had not that many, but it did seem to have a decent amount. So I'm actually really excited to finally get holy shit, custom character, or I'm sorry, character customizations. Wow, I cannot English. Character customizations. Okay, there we go. Got that out there. I think that's also very much needed, so that way we don't have just a whole bunch of clones of the same guy running around with that weird blank expression on his face. So hopefully that'll be implemented with little to no issues, and I mean, really that's all we can kind of hope for, but not well, I'm not holding my breath. Let's just say that. Another thing that's really bothering me is the fact that the interdictions, why won't they stop? Like, just look at this clip alone. Okay, this is an ECN mission. Generally speaking, there's like what, 3, maybe 4 waves of about 3 to 4 enemies that are supposed to pop up. But here, if you're watching and if you pay attention real closely, you'll actually be able to see them just pop right into existence, which leads me to believe the interdiction mechanic is interfering with the ECN missions. I still have yet to be able to reach Miles Eckhart. Like, it's getting goddamn ridiculous. It's redonkulous right now. Every single motherfucking time I try to do an ECN mission, I run into issues like this. Or I try to quantum to the waypoint, and then I fail it because I quantum. It doesn't matter if the mission just popped up and I select it. If I quantum to it, 9.5 out of 10 times it either fails the mission or makes it go away and makes it look as though I failed. That is really curious. I'm not 100% sure why that's a thing and why that's occurring. I really hope they fix that. I hope they get that, as well as the MFDs. I've noticed with ships that have gimbaled or even non-gimbaled, mainly non-gimbaled, when I'm spinning around, kind of like doing an action like this, where he's, you know, making, I don't want to say wild movements, but when I have to like swing left or right to line him up, when I start to fire, I'm noticing my MFDs are kicking on and it's selecting things. They need to have some sort of safety in there where you cannot edit the MFDs unless you're holding F. I mean, mean, is that not? I don't know. I would think that would be the logic, considering that's what you need to do in order to get to get the cursor up to edit them. Why is it happening? Just clicking. So it seems like the Mustang is also coming along quite nicely. From the sneak peek images that we've had of it, it actually looks like it got a little bit bigger. And I kind of like the new look. It really still has the feel and the look of the Mustang, but it definitely looks like a more updated, more in spec, and in line with the idea of that type of ship. And I like that it still has kind of that aggressive look to it. You know, those angles. I wish they did a little bit better on the Aurora. Looking at the old and the new models of the Aurora, I don't really see a whole huge difference. I mean, I've noticed on some of them they have like the intakes on, like where they're supposed to be. Like I think it was the LN behind where the missile racks are. But other than that, and other than kind of making the interior look a little bit better, I really don't see a whole huge difference. Whereas the Mustangs, I mean, huge differences, but still very in line with the attitude, feeling of the Mustang. I don't know what I'd really pin that down as. And speaking of ships that are being updated and reworked, the Constellation Phoenix seems to be making its way through the pipeline quite well. From what I understand, it had a positive review in the white box phase and should hopefully be right on track for its 3.3 release window. I, for one, am really stoked to see the Phoenix. I really hope that with like the Phoenix, the Freelancer Miss, the Dur, even the Max, I don't remember which one they dropped from this year. I think it was the Dur. I'll have to double check that, but I hope that when the models are complete, they will replace the current hangar-ready ones, so that way we can at least get to walk around them a little bit. I really hope they do something like that with the Reclaimer. I think that would be super awesome if for everybody, not just the people who own the Reclaimer, but for everybody to have it in their hangar just to look at for like, I don't know, a week or two to the lead up of it being, you know, set out into the wild. I think that would be super awesome, and in my opinion that would have a twofold positive impact. One, be able to show it off to everybody and show all the really cool work that's been gone into it, so that way those of us who do own it can walk around it, learn the you know, learn our way around, and you know, just get a feel for it, so we kind of have a better sense of where we are within the ship. And secondly, it will appeal to those who haven't bought it and might actually be that little bit of a tipping point, or that little bit of a push that just might make them decide to pick one up, as generally once a ship becomes flight ready, they have a ship sale. So I think it would be very positive if SIG were to make all ships at least hangar ready, preferably at least a few weeks before it's flight ready. How cool would that be? I mean, probably within reason, you know, maybe not do that for like the Idris. I mean, technically I'd have to assume it's hangar ready if they were flying it around. Although, that would be fucking cool. Imagine having an Idris that you could just walk around in. In fact, I take it back. SIG, please make it hangar ready just for us to walk around in, please. Holy shit, that would be fucking dope. But no, I think that would be a really good strategic maneuver. I remember they did something like that, but with the Next Great Starship competition. It was like the two finalists, the Scimitar and the Redeemer, and they had them both hangar ready so people could walk around, take a look at them, see what they wanted. And I really think they should bring that back. I think they're missing out on some more PR and more possible ship sales by not doing so. Especially, again, since they usually have the flight-ready sales in or around the time that they're flight-ready. Now, if you were part of the stream that we had on Saturday to announce the winner for the X1 bike, again, congratulations, Charles. Wami and myself were talking about some of the updates that were going on, and one thing in particular that really caught my eye were the updated MFD screens or scanner screens, the ones that showed the actual textured image of what looked to be a F7A Hornet, or at least the Mark II Hornet of some variant. Fairly certain it was the M7A though. And that makes me wonder, are they going to have textured images like that, or are they going to stick with the more virtualized one that we have currently in the upper right hand corner? Me personally, I've actually missed having that virtualized model, if you will, in the upper right corner. I don't know why, but there's just something about it, like knowing where the ship is facing and its shield loadout readouts like that. It makes it a little bit easier to kind of pinpoint in where you're hitting, what's going on. It gives you a little bit more situational awareness. So I'm very curious to see if they're going to remove the upper virtualized version in favor for the newer, I think what it was is for the scanning. So maybe those more in-depth looking screens are going to be more for ships like the Terrapin. You know, ships that have that dedicated scanning equipment, you know, maybe like the Aquila or the Aquila also, however you want to pronounce it. Tomato, tomato. But I'm very interested to see how that will come into play in the PU. Alright, I think I'm going to wrap the video up here. I've been babbling and rambling long enough. For the rest of this month, we're actually going to be having a giveaway of the Cutlass Black. So please like and subscribe and comment. If you have ideas for future episodes, leave them down in the comments section. Questions, comments, concerns as well. Other than that, all you beautiful bastards out there, have yourselves a wonderful day, morning, evening, night, wherever, whenever you are. This has been Will. Peace.